was a little sloppy, but quicker.
Oh. I don't know how you can, like, not feel like you're gonna die while you're driving.
I have to hold on to the steering wheel.
Holy shit, like my whole body's like moving around. I'm like, holy crap.
What's up, everybody? Okay, so this is the Unplugged Performance damper install. So it's going to be more of an overview, not a step-by-step. There is no really instructions on how to do this. Just some few write-ups from both Unplugged Performance and Mountain Pass Performance. So I did actually follow there's a couple videos online of people putting lowering springs on their Tesla. So the disassembly is pretty much the same. Actually, it's exactly the same because you still have to pull the damper off. In this case, I've already pulled off all of the stock dampers. I'll take you on a tour in a second here. Except for the front left one. I left that one on just in case I needed to check anything or if I've forgotten something. Also, the MaxJax car lift I have, if you haven't seen the video I've done on the MaxJax in this regular house-sized garage, be sure to check that out. I don't have enough jacks. As you can see, I'm kind of holding up this assembly here with a jack and a pole. So don't have enough jacks yet. I need to get some more lift-specific tools to really work on some of this stuff. But it's worked great otherwise. All right, so let's take you on a tour around the car and see what I've done so far. Okay, so as you can see, shock has been removed from the front right side. So when removing the shock, this is the all-wheel drive performance. Some of the videos online you'll see they drop it through the center there, but since I have a front drive shaft, or half shaft, whatever you want to call it, I couldn't do that, so I had to remove the top wishbone there. And what you have to do is, hopefully I didn't stretch mine, I didn't realize you have to pull the wheel speed sensors to make sure that otherwise the wire will break or whatever. So other than that, it's just unbolting all the stuff to get all the crap out. This car only has less than 1,000 miles on it, so it's very easy. So one of the other things I had to do is to get to the strut holes here, my 13mm didn't fit, so I had to take a little Dremel and make them a little bit bigger in order to actually get to those holes. So that's one of the other things I haven't seen online that people had to do, but my car I had to do it. So you can see this is what it looks like still assembled. This side I will do last once I get everything else in. So the rear was pretty easy. Shocks just came out, just a couple bolts honestly. And I already removed the top hats over here, got everything staged to put the new ones in the car. So you can see underneath the car, the nice flat bottom. It's crazy. Okay, so here are the actual dampers themselves. Pretty nifty. Looks like they are adjustable. I haven't tried to mounting them or turning the wrench yet. I probably have to put them on the car. Not that I'm going to do that anyway. You're not allowed to in SS class and Autocross, so not really going to bother with that. And I don't even have height adjusters for the rear anyway, so there's no real point. Once they change the class ruling and I enter the car in a different class, I'll probably just get lowering springs. But it's probably going to be a few years before more EVs start showing up and there's different competition classes and stuff. Alright, so I'm going to put the dampers on the car and we'll see how it goes, see if I run into any trouble, and we'll catch back up once I've gotten them on the car. Alright, so we got it all together. The hardest part was just kind of getting everything back together. Multi-link is just kind of tricky to get everything back together, especially I probably should make a lower lock pin on the max jack, so it was kind of difficult with it this high in the air. You saw that I had to use some tie downs, especially when you remove this bolt here. It all kind of flops free, and you have to do that in order to get it out. You have to push that double wishbone up, remove the speed sensor cable. Hopefully I didn't stretch that, because I forgot to kind of do that initially. So we'll see in a minute here how that works. And kind of jimmy it inside there. So it was not easy, and you had to kind of pre-angle the upper mounts there. So I kind of marked which ones should be in the rear, and tried to, when I used the spring compressor, try to align it so they would be correct in the right position. And it took a little bit of finagling, but I finally got it in there. It's a little tricky. That's why I didn't film this process, because it's just hours of me struggling and cursing. So you can see the rear was a lot easier. The rear is just 2 bolts on top and then 1 on the bottom. So pretty easy there. So the adjustment, I have plus 19 hard on the rear, and then plus 15 in the front. So it's 30 clicks of adjustment. So it's basically just middle of the road up front, and then plus 4 at the back, essentially. So gonna get everything back on the ground. I have some brake pads as well. I'm gonna drive it around first, and then double check all the wheel torque and everything, or bolt torque, and then put on the pads later for the Autocross coming up here. So we'll put it back on the ground, do some initial results, and see how it goes. And then after that, though, we're going to be doing an Autocross in about a week. So, all right. So it's actually a few weeks later, back from the Autocross, got all the issues worked out on installing the suspension. The only issues I had when test driving it around before the Autocross was I forgot to tighten the lock collars, and I think my top hat strut bolt wasn't compressed enough and bolted down because it was a little loose. I managed to tighten it on the car, and it stopped rattling really badly. Other than that, no issues. Even the wife likes driving it around. She noticed a noticeable improvement in ride handling and ride quality. Because good dampers are going to ride well as long as perform well. So on to the Autocross. It was a tremendous success. So first of all, results. So overall, the first day, I did not do as good the first day. I got second in Super Street behind another Tesla, which has the exact same mods as me. He was one of the guys that actually helped me out in picking some of these mods. So the only thing he didn't lack was the dampers, but he's been running his Tesla for over a year with the current setup, so naturally he's got a little bit more experience than me on my second event at the time. So, but overall that was 5th Raw that day. There were over 100 drivers, so the car just does fantastic. So some things on the first day I noticed, setting the traction control. I was told, from the other driver that he likes using the traction control. He finds it to be a little faster. Me coming from a Mustang with no traction control, and I have a lot of drift experience now, I was a little bit hesitant, but I'm willing to try new things. It didn't work out for me. One of the runs, you'll see here, the car slid, and I tried to correct the slide, and the traction control kicked in, and it knocked me off into the grass. So I did not like it, and I don't really think I'm going to use it. I just don't feel like it was any faster, and those edge cases where the car doesn't really know what to do versus a human, I just didn't like. So going into the second day, though, the second day, the only change I did is just set traction control to -10. Now, for the rest of the Tesla people, I don't know why the traction control is set the way it is. It goes from like -10 to 10. It doesn't make any sense to me. But it is digitally, it's a digitally linked all-wheel drive system. It's not mechanical or anything. It's 2 independent motors for each axle. So I set the power bias to 50-50, so -10, which is supposedly traction control off. I'm using the track mode with the using the AC to, to cool down the motors themselves in between sessions. It was 95 degrees outside. It was so hot my feet were getting hot on the asphalt. So if I brought the Mustang out, it would have been down 200 horsepower easily. So it's kind of one of the advantages of EVs is you store all that, the energy is stored in the vehicle, and the ambient air temperature or air pressure, if you're in Colorado or something, doesn't matter. So that day did a lot better. The overall results was the third raw, technically fourth, but the first fastest time was some open wheel car. I don't really think that counts. The second best time of the day was actually another Tesla. So the other Tesla was an EV class where you can actually run a few extra modifications. He was on 18-inch wheels, 275 Yokohamas, which, so I'm on 265 Falcons, so those are a little bit faster, and you get a little bit more speed with the smaller diameter wheel. So he was only like 1/10 of a second faster than me overall. So definitely, I probably have the skill gap on him. He was a newer driver, but I was actually surprised at how well the car does with those Yokohamas and the 18-inch wheels versus my 19s. So you can see the car is just a hoot to drive. Once you get your line set up and getting around the corners, hitting the apex, and you can kind of when you kind of turn or you kind of brake, and you can kind of get the car to rotate, and you get the car to rotate a little bit opposite lock and punch it into the straights. It just goes. It is phenomenal. Now the dampers, the weight balance is significantly better with the new dampers. It controls the weight much more predictably than before with the stock dampers, and very enjoyable. Now, the one thing the dampers still didn't really seem to cure, although I put the Unplugged Performance street racing pads or whatever they are. So I had kind of a little bit more stopping power, and it still nosedived pretty badly. Hard to tell if that was the extra braking capability compared to before. I don't know. But, it still is a significant improvement over kind of the sloppiness of the stock dampers. And I just love the handling of the car. It is phenomenal. It is fun to drive. I really never thought I'd be saying that. I really like autocrossing it. I'm definitely excited to be taking out again to Amelia Island Airport. I've been out there many times on the channel with the Mustang, hundreds of times. You can see all the videos we have here. So be sure to check that out. We're doing a night event. So I've done zero prep with the car, so just stock lights and everything. Didn't put on any crazy light bars, although I don't even know how I'd bolt one on. So I guess we'll see. But so I definitely think, yeah, some additional front damping on the front dampers. Maybe turn up a few clicks up front, and we'll see how that goes. The Amelia is going to be a little bit different than Daytona. Daytona, there's no real slalom, so I'll be interested to see how the dampers handle in a slalom. So I think overall, I am tremendously happy with the car. It is just unbelievably fast. I mean, I was talking with people online. It just makes the Mustang feel like a Trabant. Like it's a little sad. Just how fast it is compared to internal combustion. Now I do think that internal combustion engines will be way more fun, on a road course and stuff. I think the EVs really shine at Autocross, where that 0 to 60. I think I actually hit 74 on a little short course track at Daytona, which is just ridiculous on that little tiny track. So I think it was a good solid pick as an Autocross car. It is a bit heavy, but it sure is nimble, especially with these new dampers. So that's it. Be sure to check out some of the other videos we have on the Tesla, or if you want to check out some of our Mustang content or some of our more German-focused content with Ash and some of the other people on our channel. Thanks for watching.